Welcome, AfterBuzzers. You're watching the After Show for Queen Sugar, Season 4, Episode 1, Pleasure's Black. Stay tuned for more.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome, Queen Sugar fans. Wow, we are back. It's been too long, but I am so glad to be back again. My name is Shaka Smith, joined by my lovely co-host. I got Candi Marie back in the house. What's up?
Oh, it feels so good to be back,
Yes.
Shaka.
We got Thelma Mbaezue-Daniel.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Hi, guys.
We got one episode last season, but now we're back for the full season.
The full
I love
season.
it.
I love it.
And we got newcomer Dontaira Terrell.
Yes, thanks guys for having me. I'm so excited.
Yes, this has been one heck of a season already. We just got into one episode. We got some great segments tonight. We got our special segment, of course. We got our top three. We're doing a big, easy segment. We're going to talk about the texture of Louisiana. And, of course, we got our news and our predictions. So we're just going to get into it. Let's talk about our overall thoughts.
Fair.
I mean, for me, it was just nice to be back, and I was glad that we started off in like a happy space. It was just nice to see the family and the community coming together. What were your thoughts, I guess, of that overall feeling of the episode?
Absolutely. The positivity was very refreshing, because last season, wow, we kind of went on a few roller coasters last season, and I'm expecting some more roller coasters, especially the way that this episode ended. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Thelma.
Honestly, for me, when you get a wound and it's starting to heal, and then you just accidentally just scrape it all off again. I feel like we're at that healing point right before everything is peeled back, and we have to revisit all the old wounds individually and as a family. So it's really intense, and I'm ready for it.
Yeah, I'm just super excited about everything. Queen Sugar is one of my favorite shows. So, like you said, just seeing everyone come back together, but then by the end, we're all like, ooh.
You remembered it was a drama.
Ooh.
Because I remember 20 minutes in, I'm like, I'm way too happy, and I'm normally not this happy during a Queen Sugar episode. So I like that she was lulling us into that sense.
Right.
But we had some great topics. The first one I want to talk about is Black Love, especially really highlighted by Vi in Hollywood. So good to see. They've been our anchor for Love on the show. They were so good, and to see them come back from Thailand, and he's still protective of her. What do you guys think about the way he's still treating her and their dynamic?
I love them. I love them. I love what they represent. I love Vi. She's been one of my favorite characters since season 1. I'm just happy to see her happy, especially with her illness and, opening Vi's pies. It's so nice to see a strong Black woman with a strong Black man standing right next to her.
Absolutely.
That's beautiful.
Absolutely. And I think that something that Vi specifically said last season in the finale was just he has come in a way to renew and revamp her idea of marriage, because we know what her past was and how she identified marriage to be a lot of pain. So it's really refreshing to see Hollywood just keeping up, and just to see how he's so protective, beyond that, and the way that he came to Nova, just letting her know, no. This lady, I need to protect her peace and her happiness.
Yeah.
So I just really love that for sure.
Definitely. I love how he holds her down. But can we also talk about, the age difference? But you can't really tell there's an age difference.
Yeah.
And usually it's always, the men are older than the women. And with Vi, being an older woman, I feel like she carries it. She doesn't let that discourage her or just get in the way. Their love affair is one of a kind. And I'm so for it.
Yeah, I mean, did you notice a difference? Because I felt like the age thing, there was a little bit of a tension. Definitely felt it, for me, I felt it first season
Initially.
for sure. Second season,
yes.
a little bit would come up. This season, I felt like I didn't even think about it when I saw them in that market.
That's
and they
what
were
I'm
doing her
saying,
thing.
yes.
I think it's really a testament to Vi also in her ability to be vulnerable, because that had always been something in their relationship, that they're always having that power struggle. And I think that now that she fully trusts Hollywood to really lead her, that's when she can really take a step back and take that superwoman coat off and be like, okay, I have me a good man, I think that's the difference.
And you just said something that is so very important. She finally trusts him to lead. And that is one of the things that strong women, we have to learn how to do. I know it's something that I've had to learn how to do, is to trust a man to lead, because let's just face it, we have our ups and downs in relationships. It's not just in Black culture, it's just in relationships, because we have to learn that love is a verb.
Yes.
It is a verb. And actions should be, in a sense, especially when it comes to a black woman or even just a strong woman, sometimes you make people try and prove their love to you.
Yeah.
So, and he's proved.
Yeah.
And he's earned
Oh,
your love. He's earned it.
Hollywood
That's
event. He's
I'm
right.
still trying to learn how to let the man lead.
Yeah,
he
he's-
says you learned. I'm still learning. So
He needs to be a leader.
process,
If you're
sis. It's a
if you're a
process.
leader, then it's easier to let you lead. But if you're not, then that's your business. But that wasn't the only black love, though, was it?
Was there other black love? I mean, I know there's other love, but I was saying black love. What was other black love?
I
in the
don't know.
show?
I just loved when Darla walked into the diner. There was just such a sense of intimacy still between her and Ralph Angel.
he gave her that little chin up.
Am I the only one who
What's up?
feels that?
Well, I said this last season. I think he want that old thing back. And I think he gonna low-key get it back. But I got some news to drop on y'all, so I might not say that just yet.
You think it's like what everyone else is saying, or like what everyone else will think, and that's why he's like not pursuing her? Like, why do you think
they
he's
have
not?
history. They have
Right.
history, and they have a lot of wounds that need to be healed.
Yeah.
And
And they were
that is
working
what I
towards
hope
that.
to see. But I don't know. I got a bombshell to drop.
Yeah, it didn't look like they were working towards that.
Not yet.
It looks that, for me, it looks like Ralph Angel is very comfortable. That's why I don't see it as black love, because it's not like a romantic love. They're very comfortable with protecting Blue and making
But
sure.
are they? Because the way Ralph Angel was like, "Oh, you going on a date?" He
But-
felt a
It's
little-
there's an undertone.
Was it not lighthearted
That's
too,
the
though?
undertone.
Because remember the first time, I think there was a hint of a date in a past season, and he took it real hard. This, he was smiling. He was like, all right. He seemed like lighthearted, like he was ribbing a friend, like, okay, you're going on a date now, too. So that's why I felt like I didn't get the... I didn't get it. I didn't feel it.
I feel like there's always going to be that back and forth with them. She's the mother of his child. They have tons of history together. I'm always rooting for them, but they need to deal with their issues first.
And I have a
they
feeling-
have a lot to deal with.
I think Deisha's going to have something to say about it, because that to me is a little spark of a black love with Deisha.
We'll see.
She
We'll
got
see.
a kid. He's
We'll
got a
see.
kid.
Oh, yeah.
There's no history. There's no negatives. There's no,
It was refreshing.
It was refreshing.
Yes,
It was refreshing.
definitely.
Yeah.
And to see him in a refreshed spot, not having to think about whatever million things he thinks about when he's talking to Darla.
Now, you know what was refreshing? To see my girl Charley getting
yeah.
rubbed down
And
and
I
getting
was-
all types of love. Because I was like, it's about time.
Yeah.
That's
that
the
she
first
gets
time we
some
see her
love.
really relaxing
Right.
and dipping into it. But I mean, it's great to see that.
Yeah.
But we'll see where all of this is leading, because this book is about to.
Well, you look a little skeptical about. Are you skeptical about the love between Romero and Charley?
This
that
is
was
not new
like,
information, friends. I was never on the team Romero.
Never
I've
team.
never been team Romero
yeah, but
since they met in the little alley.
I like him.
No,
He's sweet.
I agree. I was never Team Romero, but did this change your? So this didn't change your mind.
No.
Did this change your mind, or do you have a?
Well, I was gonna say, I feel like Romero, he wants to take it a little bit more seriously, and Charlie's just sort of going with the flow. And I feel like as adults, you can't go with the flow. We need to set something. So even when he confronted her, she was just like, "Oh, I didn't think about you meeting my son." I'm like, "Well, those are a bit. Y'all spent the whole summer together."
You know what?
And
No, she deserves to go with the flow.
Yeah.
After everything that she has been through, no, seriously, she's
Yeah.
had so much on her brain. She needs to just relax and just go with the flow and just be loved and let somebody love her.
Yeah.
Let that man rub you down. Let that man give you all that. I could say some other things. But just receive everything that Romero has to offer. I'm here for it. You go, girl. Come on, Charley.
I agree, but I'm just saying, like, none of these people that Charley is with, anything strike me as her equal. So I just feel like all of it is just more so like, even everybody's like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, this is cool for now. Oh, this is well, but it's nothing like where I feel like this is gonna be it for Charley.
You know what I feel that sometimes when you find your equal, it's not necessarily your equal like we're both at a business partner. Sometimes your equal supports you equally in a different way, and I feel that support from Romero. So.
That's true.
Okay, my last point. Because I'm definitely Team Romero.
I mean, you don't need to call the actor up.
I might have to do that. I'll say this, and this has just come in my healing process as well, and I'm going to reveal just a little bit. I think what I've had to learn and realize, what you want and what you need are two totally different things. And I've always thought that because I was a very, I guess, alpha female, that I needed an alpha male. No, I need a man that could balance me out. I need a man that could be patient with me, a man that could give me, that could listen, that could give me that security. And I feel like that is what Charley is getting from him. you know, he's kind of giving her what she needs, and it may not necessarily always be what she want, because you're right. She didn't always have a good eye for choosing the right man, but maybe God brought her the right man. Come on.
She's been playing this one all summer long.
Like, just one more thing.
And let me drop the mic.
Oh, man. Well, we hope you guys are enjoying this conversation, and we hope you enjoy other conversations that we have here at AfterBuzz.
Yes, because, guys, before we move on to our next topic, we just wanted to say thank you for making us the ESPN of TV talk. So continue to grow with us, because we could use your help. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because you know our YouTube channel stay popping. You know, give us the ratings on iTunes and leave us a comment, because we love to hear from our listeners. And being a part of AfterBuzz TV, it has meant so much to me, because personally it has given me an opportunity to connect with our listeners, to connect with our audience, and also hear from other amazing panelists just like the ones that you see right here today. So thank you all for supporting us and doing what we love.
Yes, thank you guys. And we see you guys in the chat. Appreciate you. So, but let us move on. We got to talk about Ra's redemption, which was a beautiful moment. I can almost feel the air in his lungs as he's running down that street, running down that road when he gets that letter. It's like I'm already getting a little goosebumps here.
It was a little extra. It was a little extra.
Oh, well, so Thelma, what did you think about that run?
I can't speak for his run. You know, I can't speak for the exhilaration that he must have felt in that moment. It just caught me by surprise. I said, okay, what's happening?
Yeah.
Like, it was really intense. But, I mean, it is an intense moment, you know, to be free from your past and your past self, really, and for that, from all the wounds that remind you of it, and all the P words and all the different things that you've been going through, like he said, that really remind you of that, and then to be able to articulate that to your son in a way that he understands it, at least for his age, where it's like, oh wow, Dad, you passed the test, like you did a great job, you're free of this, and I think that was a great moment for him.
I love the way Blue said it, because it was a test. You know, we don't think of it as a test, but he was being tested in so many ways.
Yeah.
What did you think of that moment, that run? Did you find it exhilarating?
Well, I thought he was going to be tired. I know. I was like, oh, I couldn't have did that. Picked up on the speed. But I thought it was a great moment. I felt like you said, it was just like a weight lifted off his shoulders. So he just felt like, let me run, and then he stops and he screams and he just lets it all out. All that anger, all that sadness, just everything that was holding him back. I felt like he was like, I'm released, I'm free. You know, I could fly, I could do whatever, I could run. And it also just speaks to, you know, a lot of the broken criminal system that we have, in terms of, you know, if you see a lot of artists like Meek Mill, he always talks about his parole and how it holds you back and it's not necessarily there to help you grow. So that just sort of reminded me of like a real life instance, not just a show of Queen Sugar, but just as many men are going through it now. Yeah,
and we've seen through the series how it's like hemmed him up in different ways, and so even though it's like it's not controlling you, it completely controls you.
And I just want to add that I come on, sis.
I was like,
yes,
you need to tie it into the penal system, absolutely.
Exactly, because it is very refreshing, because I think mental health, especially with Black men, you know, we don't see them release. So that was very refreshing to see him actually release that moment and to just let it go. You know, like, you can no longer hold me and I'm free. Like, I love that.
And that's where I relate, because I've had those moments where the moment requires a physicality of your body, because you need to release and let go. So I felt it when he ran, and that's why I was like, oh my God, that's the moment. That's the moment.
And even I loved how they even were able to still inject some more reality, even more layers in that moment, and just saying like, oh, you know, the system has been backed up for a while. Like, that's so true. Like, he's not finding out till a little bit of time passing that, like, oh, by the way, you know, X amount of time ago, you were done.
You had done everything
that you needed to do. So it's like, that's also a very real reality.
Definitely.
And and Ra may not be fully redeemed yet, because now they're asking him to take a chance on others and give other people second chances. I like your reaction, Dontaira. You were like, oh, don't do it, Ra. Yeah, what do you think about him giving others second chance? Is he called to do so now? Or?
See, I see. That's what I didn't like. I felt like the other person, he was trying to guilt him into it. Like, you know how it is. And sometimes you just gotta like release, move forward. But he tried to bring his father in, and then was like, you know, you're probably called to do this. So, no, I'm not a fan. And I felt like it was an underlying tone, or, you know, spirits, energy. It was something underlying that I did not like about it. And like I said, especially just, I felt like he was trying to guilt him into it. And Ralph Angel feels like, I feel like I feel like each one of the Bordelons always feel like they have to sort of help the next person or hold up the next person, and I feel like that also prevents them from moving forward fully. So
I think it's really important to give back, especially when you've been afforded so much good fortune in that sense. But at the same time, I think that one of the most powerful things you can do for people is just showing them that it's possible. And I think that a lot of times we're so drunk of being givers and wanting to help everyone that we are not even pausing to be like, you know what, I need to kind of fill myself up a little bit right now. Like I'm still shaky right now. Let me get myself on solid ground, and then I can be in a position to give fully in a way of substance. So I feel like I kind of agree with that as well. I don't think Ralph Angel's necessarily ready right now, and he vocalized that.
He's like still tired from the run.
I still
to that point, he hasn't even been off parole for what? Like
he also already has Daniel.
Even a year. Like it's not even a year. He's off parole. It was what, a month? If that, it wasn't even a month. I don't know how long.
It was like maybe a couple days.
Yeah, so I'm like,
he got his farm got attacked. Like just so many things he's been through.
Yeah, I think if you're giving someone second chances, you shouldn't have to be convinced to do it. It should be like,
organic.
Yes. I feel compelled to do so because of the person you're showing me you are.
Yes, exactly.
Which you always felt with Raw throughout. Like he was showing himself to be this sort of like person that was trying, but you know, I don't know what's going to go on here, but we'll get into that later for predictions. And then of course we got to talk about the book bomb heard around the world. I mean, I opened the episode happy to see Nova talking about the book. Oh, she's realized her dream. People are going to come and promote it, pump it up, not realizing the context behind it. Candi, what did you think about the bomb she's about to drop?
The book was never a positive topic. You know, initially, one of the things that we said last season was that, you know, I think it's really cool that she's an author and that she's been afforded this amazing opportunity. But the way in which it's happening, first of all, you didn't even get your family's blessing to tell all their business. So no, I'm not on board with that. You know, because she's opening up a lot of wounds that still haven't even been healed. Going back to wounds, there are still a lot of wounds that have not been healed, and I don't agree that she went ahead and put it out there without their blessing. I think that was a conversation that should have been had because they're still dealing with some of the things that have been discussed in the book, personally.
Well, so there's a quote where, you know, they're reading from the book and says, this book is a declaration of independence from the shame that binds us. And she talks about those family inbred secrets. So let me ask you, Thelma, do you think this is a declaration
of independence from the shame that binds us?
So
wow.
Do you think it's actually a positive thing that she wrote the book, even though it's laying the family secrets bare?
So let me put it this way. I think that Nova is thinking, I can effect change on a micro level or I can do it on a macro level. And I think that she even vocalized that by saying that this book is my sacrifice. So she knows the gravity of what she's done, which is why she's moving with such guilt, which is why she's being so secretive. Hollywood even said it. He was like, Nova, you've never hid anything you've done in your life. Yeah. Something is different about this. So I think she knows what is at risk. She knows what she's doing, but I also think that she truly believes on who she's going to release. It's not necessarily her family, but in terms of like the community, I really do believe that she believes in her message and in her intentions. At the same time, I feel like you don't get to push people into any kind of confrontation, and you don't get to decide how I interact with my trauma, how I heal from it, how I present it to anybody else. So I just feel like that in that sense is crossing the line. And to find out that she put Blue's whole secret in there,
that's I was gonna lie.
You don't have the right.
And you know the kids are gonna be on the little, you know, the little kids on the farm, like, yeah, daddy's not your daddy, like, you know, like. It's just gonna all blow up. It's all gonna blow up.
Let's not hope that happens, though.
I'm just saying that kids are cruel. I'm a teacher. I know this. But at the same time, kids are also awesome. But at the same time, I feel like, she's thinking of what she can do on a macro level for the community.
I mean, she must be, because she wrote about her family in such impersonal terms. I thought that really sounds like a third person doing some intellectual write-up. There's no way you have a connection to that person.
No.
The way she wrote about him.
No, I disagree. Oh, I'll let you talk. I disagree.
Well, let me add this line. And I'll give this to you, Dontaira. This line where she says, you know, Aunt Vi is essentially a strong black woman. She portrays a strong black woman, but has been anything but her entire life.
She didn't say portrays.
Or she said something about appearing or being a strong black woman, but she's anything but that.
Yeah, she
That's
said. She
amazing.
said. Yeah, she said. And Vi is the definition of a strong black woman who has lived her life as anything lived most of her life as anything but that. That's
Exactly.
the truth.
No,
And Vi, for most of her life,
Wait a minute.
wait, hold
Wait a minute.
on.
You said that's,
Whoa.
that's the truth?
and
Wait.
Catching me
Vi,
all the
for
way by
most of her
surprise.
life,
Okay, yeah, take it away.
what I can't, this gets really sensitive, and Vi, by her own account, was in a relationship where she allowed herself to be broken down by her situation. Granted, it takes a lot of strength and inner strength to walk away from that kind of situation, rebuild, and all of that, and also considering the times. But in terms of just black and white, and Vi's in her 60s right now, coming back to herself, in her 60s right now, really finding the true liberation and the wind under her wings. It's right now that she's saying, like, no, I am who I never dared I could be. So I think that on some level, it's not impersonal. It's like Nova just trying to be honest about it.
Okay, so let's just back up for a second.
Yeah, let's break this down.
Because what I don't agree with is I know women that have gone through what Vi has gone through. Okay, and just because a woman has been broken down by somebody doesn't mean that takes away from her strength.
Absolutely.
I
did add to that,
Vi,
though.
for so long, has been the matriarch of her family, and the reason why she was the matriarch was because I personally feel God won't give you anything that He knows that you can't carry, and I think that was put on her because she, maybe in a sense, and I don't want to say this, I feel like she went through that because she could only be the woman that she is today because she was that woman. Come on, help me, sis. Help me, sis.
I disagree
No, I
with
definitely
anything you
agree.
said, which is why I said, even in that, it takes a lot of strength to even live through a situation like that, and then to rebuild and even walk away or live through.
So you
look at-
think for the majority of Vi's life she has not been a strong black woman? Is what you're?
Well,
Yeah.
Friend, I'm literally just talking about her age. I'm talking about if we're doing the
But age
math.
doesn't have anything
It
to
has
do with
nothing
it.
to
You
do
grow
with it.
and you evolve at,
what is
at your own pace.
But I agree with that completely because you can't come back to yourself unless you want to. But what I'm saying is, if we're talking about nothing that Nova is saying, granted, I hate the method in which she's going about it and the way she's making decisions on other people's personal lives. Fair, but at the same time, the things that she is saying are fact and they're true.
So you think Anvi has not been wait, hold on. Do you think she's not been a strong black woman?
It's not that I think that she hasn't been a strong black woman, but I think that Nova has evidence to back that statement. You can see that statement, and you can believe it or you can go against it.
But you believe it.
It's not that I believe it. I'm just saying that if we're going mathematically, right? Majority of her life, and Vi has not been walking in the strength of who she is right now.
Wait, so you believe?
But she has.
Hold on,
But
because let's not take away her marriage. Let's talk about her job. Let's talk about how many times she was looked over at her job when she was the main person running that whole place
But that
under
happens
that
to all of
man.
us every day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're missing
But
a very important point.
it took some time for her to get to the spot where it's like, this is what I deserve.
Yeah.
This is what I deserve. I'm willing to walk away from the table if I don't get what I deserve.
So
that's when the full actualization of who she is.
Here's a question. Here's a question. The question is, can you be a strong black woman but still take time to find yourself before you get to that point?
Absolutely.
Who has
Yes.
been, who
But
has
who's
been
saying
the
that-
mother?
But that's not
what
the
are you saying?
case.
Who has been the mother to these kids when their mother passed away?
The backbone.
Let me tell you, she has been the backbone for this family when her brother died, when her sister-in-law died. She has been so many things to so many different people. She has continued to carry herself even through her sickness. You smiling.
I agree with you, but I just feel like okay, this is
You
what I'm
believe
saying.
she hasn't stepped into herself till now, so that takes away from her being a strong black woman in the past. But I think we're saying that there's other ways to be a strong black woman without having to know that you want to be Vice Pies and own your business yet.
I
So
agree with
that's
that
both sides of
completely.
the,
All I'm saying is from Nova's point of view, like the things that she's saying can be validated from her viewpoint. So
it's just very
like,
matter of fact, and that's why we were like, whoa, she's not saying, oh, Vi might take away from the traditional notion we have of a strong black. She's saying this is what she has been defined as, and she's not that. And so that's why I'm like, huh. Now, if she had put it in a way that she said, here's the archetype of the strong black woman, and here's how she has met it, and she didn't do it in that line was so harsh. Now, of course, we read more of the book, and somehow it's kind of validated or contextualized, but I think on that statement, it viscerally for all of us, we're like, whoa.
Can we get a copy of this book?
Yeah,
I really want to read this book. But you know,
copies,
just last thing in that is just like, because I feel like some of the statements that we went over today, of course we'll get more context, but even what she said about Charley playing both sides in terms of just like the misogyny and perpetuating it to some extent, that's also true. You know, so it's like, yes, whatever your intent was, that's also like true. Like that's arguable. Like, you know, I'm just saying, without a reasonable doubt, maybe not, but like, yes, that is arguable. We can find evidence.
But I feel like she's only speaking to isolated instances. She's using that and taking away from the whole being in itself. She's using isolated instances. Okay, Aunt Vi was in a tumultuous marriage or relationship and it broke her down. Okay, but that doesn't take away or negate the fact of who she is overall, like her overarching person.
Yeah,
you know
I
what
agree
I'm
with
saying?
the argument.
Charley,
I agree with the arguments that Nova might be making, but Nova seems to make conclusions I don't agree with. And but the arguments, of course, you can say maybe she was strong because of this or that, but Nova seems to conclude that that's what it is. She's not a strong black woman before because just now. And she seems to do the same thing about questioning Roth's fatherhood and his manhood as well.
Has she put in there that she's been sleeping with a married man, a married white?
I would hope she would put all that in there.
I hope she puts all
that true.
that in there.
I think she must.
I hope
she
so.
absolutely would.
Y'all making a lot of assumptions. I don't think she. I don't feel like Nova's that way. She put everybody else's business out and then skim over hers. She may put a little bit, but she's not gonna go in depth.
Well, go in detail.
We got to cover that in predictions because that is an interesting tidbit.
Just quick question for you, Shaka. So you don't think that what she said about Ralph Angel was true?
Was it true? No. That they're doing that. They're not telling the truth of Blue's parenthood to protect Ralph Angel's fragile ego, or maybe they're protecting Blue.
She used Ralph Angel's fragile ego as an antidote for the kinds of ways that black people kind of like walk around these chasms of our secrets.
But she said the reason they're not telling Blue the truth of his parenthood is because of Ralph Angel's fragile 20-something ego.
But I also feel like
not
that's not their place to tell Blue anything. That's Ralph Angel
At all.
And they're not.
It's not. No, it's not.
But they're doing it to protect Blue. I don't think it's a symptom of Ralph Angel. If Blue were 12, I think they'd be like, hey, or 15, maybe older. But he's 5. That's blowing up his world.
Blue knows how to read. Come on.
Blue
knows
like
how to read. He's a very
5-year-olds know a lot of stuff.
Little boy. So if he wanted to read this.
Oh, you mean the book? Yeah.
If he wanted to read this, and not to mention, this is going to be something that he can look back at his entire life.
Yeah.
It's out there.
That was not her job. That was not her position
He just
to
got
do that.
free. This is like everything was just happening for Rao. Just everything, like him and Darla finally co-parenting safely and soundly, and
I did check him on that.
And I liked how he defended Darla, but it was like, no, you guys need to raise your standards. This is not good enough.
I liked Aunt Vi's comeback and her attitude on there. I was like, okay.
Well, and I liked it because we do that sometimes in different areas of our life where we lower our standards and we say, okay, this is acceptable, this is great, this is a win. You know, but really it's a win when that child is being, as she said,
passed around
like bread or something.
Yeah, passed around like bread. It's like, don't be congratulating yourself like you're good parents. You're passing him around like he's bread. Like, this is not good enough. Raise your standards.
Yeah. They're doing the best they can. Y'all know how I feel about Ralph. Ralph, baby, you look really good in this episode.
In every episode.
You're becoming a man. I am proud of you, all your progress. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you release stuff. It's like, ooh, Ralph. He's great.
He's great.
Oh, man. But let's get into some of our special segments that we have. Of course, we have our Big Easy Scene. Dontaira, take it away.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys know this, but New Orleans is like my favorite city, one of my favorite cities. I actually plan on moving there. When I get a man and get married, we're going to settle down in New Orleans.
Ralph Angel's down there. Kofi's waiting for you.
Ooh, don't tell me that.
Don't worry, sis. I'm coming with you.
You coming with me? Okay. We got a room. We'll get that far.
Did we just establish a sister wife?
Got to protect my man.
At all costs. So in the episode, we witnessed the Second Line parade, and Second Lines are huge cultural moments in New Orleans. So we're just going to do a little brief history of what a Second Line is, how it came about, and the culture of New Orleans. So Second Lines are said to have originated from the styles of traditional West African dance circles. Now, enslaved West Africans brought this to the United States and incorporated these rituals into brass band processionals, come to be known as jazz funerals. Now, as part of the modern day cultural heritage of the Crescent City, which is New Orleans nickname, the Crescent City, the Big Easy. This historic custom isn't just limited to take place during burials. You know, a lot of weddings, births, and as you witnessed on the episode, grand openings, and a lot of other celebratory moments. And there's no second line without handkerchiefs, umbrellas, and an amazing brass band. And I plan on having one at my wedding as well. You all will be invited.
And it was one of my favorite scenes.
You know, like you would think this girl is engaged and ready. This is how you manifest, okay? Manifestation 101.
And we're going to circle back to this episode, and they're going to say she put it out there.
That was it. No, that was one of my favorite scenes because it really showed that they were part of the community. They didn't feel like outsiders anymore. Because like I was saying before, like, Charlie had to learn this. Charlie probably had no idea what this whole thing was. So like she is now part of the community. The entire family is. And I love seeing them.
But that's what the second line is about. Is about community. You also get as many people to join in as you can. So you might be on your way to work, grab and see a second line, grab an umbrella, do one little block, and then hand it back, and then go on about your way.
Oh yeah,
so
that.
It's definitely all about community.
That's cute. I mean, I did see that Vi didn't have her shoes on, so I was like, she's really excited.
She's having a good time. And I believe we have some good news.
Some good news, yeah.
Yes, we have tons of good news.
Well, is it good news? We have news. Is it good news?
You said it was a bombshell.
Yeah.
I do have some bombshells. Well, love is definitely in the air, and I know we were talking about black love earlier. So, Darla, darling Darla, has a love interest this season, potentially. His name is Brian Terrell Clark. And he's set to be appearing this season in a few of these episodes. So let's be on the lookout for this bombshell of love coming from Darla. Also, Nova, she just has so many lovers with her little selfish self. She has a love interest.
So much hate for Nova.
I
love you, girl.
She has a love interest that's going to be returning that was from her past. Cree Summer, we all know her from A Different World.
Yeah.
She's going to be making some appearances as a past lover of Nova's this season, where she's going to pop up. I'm not going to tell you where. You have to make sure you watch, but she's going to pop up in a scene, and we're going to see some things happening with her.
Wow. I'm excited.
I'm really excited. I'm ready to jump into predictions. I'm so ready.
Where you come from? But anyways.
We just have so many wonderful people, like so many wonderful actors, even cameos that are doing like this season. So I'm just so excited.
The 35 female directors that Ava's put on.
Yeah.
Like, that's amazing.
I mean, was anybody excited as I was to see Tevin Campbell?
Oh, we
amazing talk.
I mean,
for a minute. Girl, I want. Josh said that's enough of that.
All right, Josh.
And we're done.
Oh man. Well, we got our last few segments, but let's do our top three. Top three is a news segment we're gonna do, and we're gonna talk about our top three moments of the series to this point. And I think
it's like I'm going last.
And we were supposed to get a consensus on our top three, but we totally forgot to do a consensus. So we're just gonna kind of like brainstorm your top three.
Can everybody
moments
just
of the
do
series.
like one and then we?
I like one. Let's do one.
Let's do one. Like,
I'm like, ooh,
it's such a rich show. It's so intense. I don't want to like.
First one to your head.
Oh my goodness, guys.
I'm gonna do four since there's four of us. Let's go.
You want me to go? Do you still think?
No, you go.
Okay, so my favorite moment was when Vi and Hollywood got married. It was beautiful. It was just great to see Vi in love. It was just great to see her experiencing such a happy moment. My favorite moment.
Do you have one?
Favorite moment. I would say my favorite moment would be when Charley got the courage, not even the courage, when she just told that ex-husband of hers, it's done, it's a wrap. And, just taking her, just take charge. Yeah. And that meant in terms of family, that meant in terms of her personal life, business, all of it. She was just like, I'm not just this husband's wife. She was like, I'm much more. And I'm going to prove it to myself and to the rest of the world. So.
Did you have one?
Okay, I have a few. Like, there's so many. But, okay, I'll say two. One of them being, of course, you guys know this is one of my favorite moments where Micah was, like, getting arrested when he was, like, walking off and he, like, had, like, the pee coming down and, like, Nova, like, wrapped her like, jacket around him. That was such an intense moment. I will always love that moment. The other is just a really, really difficult storyline to attack, and that was when Nova had to interact with Charlie's mom, because I feel like a lot of times you can have this idea of who your mother was and what your father's relationship was. This woman came in and stole him. So she had to deal with the reality of, like, that's not really how it happened. So I think that was a really wonderful moment for me and for women, because I feel like that's just not something that we get to see a lot attacked on like television.
Right. Oh, come on.
Any top moment that I had that involved Nova is now off the table given this episode.
My goodness.
But honestly, for me, that Ralph Angel moment of running, because it was, I mean, I connected with that moment, and to me, it's a rebirth. It's a new life for him, and so I'm interested in seeing how that changes him and his interaction with the world.
Absolutely. Sometimes, she did say that sometimes things have to burn all the way down in order to be born again.
Yeah.
But now we got another fire he got to put out with his book.
Exactly. So. And so what are your predictions for this fire and how they're going to be put out, Dontaira?
Ooh.
Oh, we've got the prediction music.
AfterBuzz TV. Predictions.
All right, so this gonna be
She was like, "What is this music?"
I was waiting for it to go down. I wouldn't be surprised if it's some fist flying, but I'm saying Nova did a lot of damage with this book, and the fact, like we already talked about, her being so secretive about it, and just kind of self-righteous. Like she had sort of like, it was my position to put this out there, because no, ma'am, you could have wrote about a lot of stuff. You could have fictionalized everything, but so it's going to be some falling out. There's going to be a lot of falling out, and I feel like if Ralph Angel helps these people, something's going to go down with that. Something maybe with the cops or something illegal activity or something's going to go down.
Yeah, like I said, I think Nova put a lot of thought into what she did, but I think that she also had blinders on when it came to herself and like her role. And I think that after she starts to just kind of like interact with the trauma that she's now caused other people, and she has to like really just navigate how to deal with how much pain is going on, she'll start to see that this sacrifice actually has so much more layers to it. And like she can kind of like, I hope that she will start to own some of the reality that is around like her fault in this. And I think if she can't do that, then she really has lost her family, at least for this season. And it would have to be like a prodigal son kind of return like next season.
Yeah, because it's like, how do you come back from that?
Unless with like real understanding of the damage that you've done. You know what I mean?
Right, because she's such a selfish person. You know, she's proven that last season, and then the season before. All of her actions have been very selfish. But I'm not going to waste
the Remy
my
thing.
prediction on Nova. Okay, I want to say that we can't forget who Charley is. Okay, Charley is a beast. I love her strength. I love how she carries herself. I love how she handles her business, and she's a businesswoman first. So I'm looking forward to see Charley shut that all the way down, because we know that she will, and she's going to do it with class, she's going to do it with strength, and she's going to do it in a way that makes us want more. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with that.
Nova. I don't know if she's going to be with us the entire season, because she got to go. The only way I see her coming back from this is if she has some sort of near-death experience, and not even a realization.
Wow, okay.
No, I'm saying like, what's going to make any of that family in this season, in that immediate aftermath, kind of like rush to her to show any sympathy? It would be if she was something grave were on her.
Saying she should be attacked or something?
No, I'm not saying it should happen. I think it's going to. I think for this family, because I think the family's going to get back together at some point this season, and they'll kind of heal some wounds. And I think part of that healing will be because she's in a dire situation. And I'm thinking it's got to be close to like a death situation.
Right, I was about to say, what traumatic event will bring them closer? Like,
it's got to be
back
something
together,
that traumatic. Because if that doesn't happen, then Nova's off the show. We'll see her in 5 years if the show's still going. Right? Like in terms of real families, she's laid everything bare, and it looks like even more than what we know.
It was healing for her, but not for everybody else.
And I think that
again.
Exactly. And Hollywood, just said, even Hollywood is like, I don't know. He was like, if it's even like a percentage of the 25%
He's like, I only know 25%.
Then, but I just feel like sometimes when something really big like that happens, it actually does bring everybody else closer together. I feel like I'm really excited to see Micah come back with a new stride from Paris and all the different things that are going on. But I think that this is going to be an opportunity. We've seen Charley be there for Micah and like this like, you know, hierarchy of being the adult. But I think that now that he's growing up as a man, you know, it's kind of like he's gonna start taking care of his mom a little more and taking care, especially when everyone's broken like this. I think it's gonna bring them closer together. And Nova will definitely be isolated, but everyone else will, I think this will bind them closer together as a family.
It will be interesting though if she's like giving Micah nice treatment in the book, and if he's like, you know, more
I think Micah will
to
get
her,
it.
but I think
Micah's gonna get it immediately. He's gonna understand why Nova did it.
Yeah.
But I think he won't have been bad-mouthed in the book.
Yeah, because I think he's also very vulnerable when it comes to his aunt, because his aunt has always been that savior for him when his mother and his father could not be. And that was a very important time in his life when he needed somebody and she was there.
Exactly.
So I feel like he's going to try and be the voice of reason
To bring everybody
on
together.
Nova's behalf.
If in fact he is treated well in the book. I mean, I imagine she does.
She's not bad-mouthing people. That's all I'm trying to say. It's like she's not bad-mouthing people. She okay, you only tell things, you know, what do they say? You don't see things how they are, you see things how you are. So Nova is seeing the things how she is. So it's not necessarily true or not, but in her, from her lens and her scope, these things are true. I just want to name that she's not out there with the intent of like, let me badmouth my family. You know what I mean?
Intent, yes, but effect. And she knows it. And she knows it.
True.
So
You're
that's
you're not only responsible for your intentions. You're responsible for how.
Because I have a good
intentions,
intentions, and certain times I know the effect of me saying this is not going to be good, so I'm not going to say it regardless of my intention.
Exactly.
And Nova seems not to have gotten that, and it looks like it was a lesson that. Throughout the season, throughout the series, she's gotten that lesson in little bits and parts, but it hasn't taken.
She's a very smart girl.
She should have called
She
a
know what
family
she doing.
meeting as opposed to trying to tiptoe. I'm just going to leave this on
2
on
months
the
ago,
desk.
she should have called the family.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave this on your
Yeah,
desk.
just-
If
When
you're
have a
bold
chance.
enough to do
When
it,
you
then
fix
do
your
it.
hands to type those
Those
words,
then
then
you need to do it. Yep.
That
That's what she
outline
been doing.
that she had.
I just can't
Yes.
imagine being Charley, like literally about to get an award, and you just hit me with this out of left.
Ambush.
And can we talk about how you mentioned
Ambush?
earlier how Charley is about her business? Now you're affecting the business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cease and
publicly.
Publicly, I can't even
Harvest
accept
time
my
is
award.
coming. Yeah.
Yes.
So
now she got to get a publicist.
And I
She
think
got to spend money on a publicist
That's the
to
worst
correct
part.
all of those wrongs.
Yeah.
People done pulled out their
Spend
cell
control.
phones.
Yes, damage control.
And not to
Damage
mention,
control.
this is the family friction. We already know the Landry's
my
going to come back with
goodness.
something crazy. So
my
she's going to have
God.
to.
Now,
Yeah,
all their
Yes.
secrets now they can weaponize
yeah,
it.
we did see the councilwoman and Councilwoman Isabel, who apparently getting money from the Landrys. So and she
But
doesn't
you see
realize
how
what
she was
they're up
open
to.
and upfront about it? That's how Nova should have been.
Yeah, and she, yeah,
And here's a prediction.
that part.
Here's a prediction. The Landrys are coming for blood this season, especially with how
of
last
course.
season ended.
Yes.
They're coming for
Of
blood.
course. Oh gosh, we could talk about this forever, guys. This was.
They need to give us
one heck-
like 2 episodes a week.
I know, right? Just give us the full season, put it on Netflix. No. But this was amazing, guys. Thank you for an awesome first show. This was great. Yeah, thank you guys in the chat. We see you guys
You
popping
guys
up.
are popping.
Got Jen in there. Dope.
Hey, Jenna, welcome back. Afro Angola.
We
Hey.
appreciate you guys.
What's up?
Well, guys, thank you for closing out with me. Again, my name is Shaka Smith. You guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Shaka Strong.
Hey guys, it's Miss Candi Marie. Glad to be back. You can find me on Instagram at Miss Candi Marie and on Twitter at Sweet Candor TV.
Oh, it's Thelma Mbaezue-Daniel. You can find me on Instagram at Thelma.
And it's Dontaira Terrell, and you can find me on all social media platforms at Dontaira Terrell.
See you guys next week.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.